Evening everyone, and today we are back with one of the most insightful session, uh, which is basically drawing realistic eyes and hair along with the entire portrait. Of course, we will wait for some time. Hey Hiral, hi Aditya. Yeah, so we will wait for. Hi Pratik. Nice to see you, Pratik. I'm soon going to get in touch with you. Hello, Dr. Das. And okay, now I'm going to have Dr. Kalpesh. Let me see. We'll wait for a minute till he joins in. Hey, Kalpesh. Hi.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening. So, let me introduce Dr. Kalpesh to you all. He is, first of all, a very humble boy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
That
much.
is the biggest introduction I could give of him. Well, he professionally he has done his BDS from MGV National, and then he did his master's in endodontics from Government Dental College and Hospital, Mumbai, in
Yes,
2014.
yes,
So,
ma'am. Thank you.
Kalpesh, let me introduce you to my audience who are eagerly waiting for the beautiful Aishwarya Rai to come alive on your paper.
Hopefully, yes. Yes. I'll try my best.
Yeah, you are so good. I must tell you one thing, Kalpesh, that your Madhuri Dixit has
Hmm.
really won a lot of accolades.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm humbled. Thank you so much, ma'am.
So, what paper are we using today, Kalpesh?
I usually prefer an ultra smooth paper. So it is a Brustro from the brand Brustro Bristol Ultra Smooth. And minimum GSM
Okay,
of 250 I prefer.
okay.
Uh,
And a
for
smooth
multiple
paper?
layering. Yeah, a smooth paper. So I can give my own texture, whatever I desire.
Right. And today we are basically like handling charcoal or it in graphite.
It is mainly charcoal. I have started working on charcoal since last 1 year and I have liked that medium. So we'll be doing charcoal today.
Sure. So, should we get started?
Sure, sir, definitely. Okay, I'll just
Yeah.
adjust my camera.
Sure. So Dr. Kalpesh has been doing this, and he has kind of, found his niche in making portraits, and he's doing an amazing job in portraits. And now I guess, oh, there we are. Because so what I'm going to do for a while, Kalpesh, that
Yes.
I'm going to switch off the commenting so that people are able to appreciate your drawing, and then in between I'll start off the commenting once again, okay?
Sure,
And then we will
definitely.
see what queries or questions or anything people have. Then we can go ahead with that.
Sure, definitely. This is the first thing I've done. It is an outline which is done with the help of grid method.
Uh-huh.
So it is a very common technique which is used for realistic drawings. The
Right.
proportions are the most important when we are trying anything realistic.
Right.
So there are two ways. Usually we have an artistic approach or a realistic approach. In artistic approach, what we do is we just jot down the proportions and we just see the light and shadows and we work accordingly. But in
Mm-hmm.
realistic, your outline has to be inch perfect for proper likeness. So
Mm-hmm.
there, this grid technique comes into play. So here, basically, you have a reference image and
Okay.
which has got grids. There are multiple apps available on Google Play Store. So this is the same photograph which I'm going to try and replicate on the paper. So the grids here I've used are 29 by 20. These are
Okay.
the number of squares. And same squares I have replicated on my paper, each side of 1 centimeter.
Okay.
So as the
Before,
outline,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kalpesh. Could you just let us know the app that you are using? Because when there are multiple apps, people get confused.
right. I am using this app. 1 second. Just This is the app. It is available on Play Store. It is Drawing Grid Maker by Vavatech Software.
Okay.
It is most commonly used by many, and it's
Okay.
very user friendly.
Okay.
Okay. So, for example, we just have to follow these outlines and we have to replicate it on our paper. It is as simple as that. With a little bit of practice, we can master this. It
Right.
takes some time, but the outlines are the most important. So once we are done with the outline, we come to our shading part. Okay. So I'll start with the hair first. Many
Sure.
people, many artists have a problem in drawing realistic hair. I have tried my methods. These are not ideal methods, but these are tried and tested by me only, and it
Okay.
works good for me.
It
Okay.
doesn't work good for you. It works excellent for you.
Thank you, thank you. The only one thing we have to keep in mind is that charcoal is very messy. So we have to
Right.
be very, very, very accurate with where you are putting your powder and all your brushes, brush strokes and all. So mainly what I use are these charcoal pencils, and there is
Uh-huh.
one charcoal stick. Charcoal stick. These are for the darkest areas. Okay.
The compressed charcoal.
Compressed charcoal stick. And these are some brushes you have. These are available from your local shops. You can take any brushes the way you want, the tip size and all, and
Mm-hmm.
you can just spread them. So I'll
Okay.
just try and start with it, and we'll just see how it goes about.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So how long do you take to sketch this?
Actually, I usually work on a bigger size portrait. This is an A4 size. I work on A3. It takes me around, say, 10 to 15 days, say 30, 35 hours of work.
Okay.
So I have tried to do it, compress it in a smaller size, and I try to do maximum what I can in
Okay.
this.
Do
Okay.
you also take up commissioned work?
Not much because of my consultations and all. Not much,
Hectic
but
thing.
sometimes yes, but not much.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So first we'll jot down the darkest areas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we'll move towards the light areas. So let's see how it
Sure.
goes about. So I'm just following this pattern of the hair strands. We need not draw individual hair strands. This is a very big mistake what artists try and do. They try and draw individual hair strands. It's
Right.
not feasible. It's not possible in fact.
Right.
So we just have to try and simulate that here. We may not
Mhm.
copy it. I'm going to do a bit fast. I may not be that accurate as I usually do, but I'll try and explain the basic procedure.
Right. Because we are short on time, so uh,
Exactly.
that's the problem. But then at least if they get the gist of the thing also, they can rectify themselves later.
Perfect. 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 So here I'm first. I've just put my charcoal stick on the darkest area.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll use a brush. First, what I use is a brush which has got a slightly what I can say is it has got a slightly rough edge to
Okay.
nicely spread this charcoal.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
even
And just
some
following.
brushes which are like not we cannot use them for watercolor or something. Maybe
No, no, no. These are makeup brushes. Basically, these are makeup brushes.
okay, okay, okay.
These are not our paint brushes. These are makeup brushes are available locally. Very
Ah,
cheap brushes, 30, 40 rupees brush.
oh, okay, okay,
These are
okay,
not branded ones. It's
okay.
very easily available at any local shop.
Hmm.
So I'm just spreading this powder in the area which is a little bit light. Later
Okay,
on, when the highlights come into play, then the portrait comes to life.
right. But it's already taking shape. You can already make out that it has a smooth contour.
Hmm. Okay, I'm going to be a little messy here because I'm doing it a bit fast. That's okay. It's if we can
Never
understand the
mind.
main
That's okay. As far as
some
we can make
calculated.
out what you are doing, and then
Exactly.
maybe finally you can post a final picture.
Right, right, right. I'll show that. So this is how I've spread. This is we have to go basically layer by layer. The more layers we do, the more realism comes.
Right.
So this is just the first layer I've applied.
Okay.
Okay. Suppose this is the part I have to do. Okay. This is here. No, again, there's some darkness here again.
Basically, follow the contour. That is the main thing, right?
Exactly, exactly. Follow the contour of your hair strands and just jot down the dark areas first. You may not be exactly precise, but a basic direction is more than sufficient.
So are these pencils Derwent pencils?
These are charcoal pencils from General
Okay,
brand charcoal pencil. It is very easily available online as well as in any art store.
okay,
There are many Derwent, there are Brustro ones, there are Camlin, there are many, but I have found these better.
okay.
Okay. Again.
So when you go layer by layer, okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, whatever layer you have put earlier,
Hmm.
does that mess up any time?
No, 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 no. The more layers we are on, the more layers we put, the more realism comes into play. It is
Oh,
not like our yeah, graphite. Charcoal is
huh.
it is very less dense as compared to graphite pencils. So we can apply multiple layers. It spreads over it.
Yeah. It's more forgiving.
It's more forgiving. Only thing it is a bit messy because it is less dense. It spreads here and there.
Yes, yes. So you have
Okay.
to keep a light hand while doing.
Very light hand. And you have to mind the borders where you are putting and all.
Right.
Mhm.
So I'm sure while like you find a MB2, you must be having friction of doing it layer by layer out here
Perfect
too.
example. Perfect example, ma'am.
Beautiful.
And this is the basic first layer I've given. Now I'll try and
Mhm.
put some highlights. Okay, this highlighting is done. This is a must for charcoal. You cannot do without this. This is a Tombow mono eraser or any other
Combo
mono
mono
eraser,
eraser. Okay.
Tombow mono eraser from the brand Tombow or any other pencil eraser which is like a pencil but has a eraser tip to it. This is
Mm-hmm.
a must for charcoal.
I guess you also get it from the brand Kohinoor.
Kohinoor is there, Stedler is there. There are many.
Hmm.
Hmm. It again depends upon personal preference.
Right.
So this is again the first layer of highlight. This is not the final thing. This is
Okay.
just
So, do you not use the kneadable eraser out here?
yes, yes. I will.
Okay.
Kneadable eraser, specifically, I use in the hair part in the areas which are a bit blurry.
Okay.
Now these areas are very sharp. They are in the focus of camera, so these have to be sharp. So
Right.
some stray hairs in the background or something like that, they'll be blurry. So for that, you
Hmm.
can use your kneadable.
Hmm. Yeah. Beautiful. You can already make out the highlights and beautiful. Basically, I feel every portrait, whatever you are making, it's the light. You have to identify the source of light. That's very important.
Exactly. Exactly.
Beautiful. So, are you doing this right from your childhood? The drawing painting
No,
work?
ma'am. Actually, I never used to sketch but
Mhm.
due to lockdown, because we all were forced in our houses, actually, my wife used to draw a lot. So she told me,
Uh-huh.
you also try. And then I
Oh,
started, and then somehow I developed liking towards it. And now it's like a stress buster after your daily dentistry. I do
yeah.
a little bit of sketching at night, and it is
Awesome.
like a stress buster for me.
It's unbelievable that you're doing it only since the last 2 years.
Yes, since May 90, May or March 19, I guess. March 19.
See, so this
March
is a very big
2019.
lesson for all the men out here. Listen to what your wife tells you.
She's my first teacher actually. She has taught me.
Awesome. So take a bow, Hiral. You have
She's just
actually got a
beside me.
diamond out here.
Now I'm trying to slightly merge these things a bit. Of course, it's going very fast. I do it much, much, much slower than this.
Obviously, yeah.
Very much
But
slower.
that is the problem with every live session because we have this time constraint. We have to go
Exactly.
ahead and do it faster.
Mm.
So very soon we'll be doing a session with Hiral as well with the landscape.
Sure, 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 man.
So when you're working, oh, you're doing a total makeup thing out here.
Exactly. It is like a makeup thing only. These brushes, they give a bit of softness to the
Yeah,
final result.
I was about to say that that is the thing which is causing the softness.
Exactly. Either brush you can use or a tissue you can use, but I prefer brush. Even tissues can be used.
So, but does the tissue also give that kind of softer look, or the brush
Little less.
gives a better look?
Uh, Brush is, I guess, it is better on the smooth paper. But if you're using a tissue and a medium surface textured paper, then a tissue might also suffice.
Okay, okay.
But for a smooth paper, a brush will give you the maximum smoothness.
Okay. Do you also use a chip syringe?
I do use, but I don't have it now.
Because I
I
feel
use a uh,
dentistry and
chip syringe. It is very
artistry are
difficult to
so
blow
close.
that. I had it with me. I used it, but it's not very comfortable here.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
So the layer goes,
Now this is
basically apply charcoal, spread it out, put highlights, apply charcoal. That's how the layers go, right?
right, right. Now these are slightly delicate highlights which I'm giving.
Uh-huh.
First, just to that was the first layer. These are slightly delicate. Now again, these highlights, out of these highlights, some highlights would be extremely light, as in there'll be maximum reflection there. So that will also give a little realistic look.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
then you have slightly fly off hairs.
Right.
These are the stray hairs, which again,
Beautiful.
because of charcoal, the deep blacks what you get in charcoal cannot be replicated in graphite. So these deep blacks give a sense of 3Dness as compared to graphite.
Uh,
Graphite, it's very.
And
I have worked in graphite also, but these blacks cannot be achieved there, no matter how much hard you try.
yeah, it the darkest value of the black tone, I guess, cannot
Mm.
be achieved by graphite.
No, no, impossible. And then again, it shines. Graphite shines. Charcoal does
Right.
not. So that's another thing.
Yes, yes.
So this is how it is somehow. It is.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
So, are you interested only in portraits, or
I have only tried portraits till date, and I do some scenery, but only in charcoal only. Charcoal and yeah, I have not tried colors. I'm not. I have
You
tried,
are
but
a
I'm not very good with
monochrome.
them.
You are a monochrome person, basically.
Exactly, monochrome. Okay, then there is something. There's a white charcoal pencil also available. Okay, this
Uh,
can be used for certain extremely reflective hair strands.
so does it happen that way, Kalpesh, ever that if white charcoal pencil that you are using, when you are using it on the dark charcoal, that soil, the pencil becomes black.
No, no, no. That does not happen. In fact, the white charcoal works best in the darkest area. See, this area, for example, I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I put a slight here, you'll have a very nice effect there.
Okay.
This, this I cannot use with graphite. If I put it in graphite, your pencil tip will, yeah, and you won't get that highlighting
You will
effect.
with graphite you will never get the
Ah,
white highlight like that's right.
but in charcoal, it is the best. In fact, I find it better to use in the darkest areas. So you have some fly off hairs here like that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one part of it completed. Well, not
Beautiful.
exactly completed, I can say, but
Yes.
whatever can be done in that limited amount of time.
But at least people have got an idea of what
The technique.
the technique basically.
Again, basically what I can do is I can slightly merge this off. Then I can again put my highlights. The more layers I give, the more realism will come.
Right, right,
Uh,
absolutely.
there are certain what extra I can do is I can add certain again areas of shadow for every hair strand. Not every, but some hair strand. That will again give some amount of
You you can do as much as hair spa as you want to do for Aishwarya Rai.
exactly. L'Oreal shampoo is coming into effect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is basically the hair part. Hmm? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll move to one eye now. Hmm?
Ye- Yes, people are really waiting for it. So
Uh-huh.
if anyone has any queries, please put it up in the comment box so that we will be able to guide you through that through Kalpesh.
Okay.
This lock of hair is looking really awesome. I wish Aishwarya Rai is able to see this. We will tag her.
Uh,
Let's see.
I'll tag her in my final portrait for sure. Okay. Now eyes have to be the more they have to be more precise as compared to hair. Hair we can be a little bit forgiving, but eyes you have to be perfect. So I have to use my charcoal pencil and not my charcoal stick.
Okay.
So I have to jot down my outlines with my charcoal pencil. First, usually what I do is I use a lighter grade pencil. I make the outline. Then again, I see if it is right. Then I use a little higher grade pencil. But now I'm doing it straight with a higher grade just to save some time.
Okay. Okay. So this is the I what I mean to ask is this is what B pencil or
This is
HB
a
or
6B, 6B, 6B.
6B.
In charcoal, usually the darkness remains the same, but only the softness changes. 4B
Okay.
would be a little less soft as compared to 6B. So I
Okay.
also have a woodless charcoal pencil. This is known as a woodless charcoal pencil. This is a little lighter as compared to the pencil which I was using now. This is a
Okay.
woodless charcoal. So
Okay.
this usually I use for my initial first layer of outlining in eyes and eyebrows and all. Then I slightly, once things look good, then I use the darker pencil.
Okay. 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 So see this we are kind of saving time. That is why you are doing it
Ah,
this way. But
exactly.
when you do it normally, like in your normal course of time, what
Hmm.
part of the portrait do you finish off first?
First, I do the background if the portrait has a background.
Okay.
If the
Okay.
portrait has a background, first I do the background, then I go to the hair part.
Okay.
After the hair, I do eyes, and then forehead, and then proceed down. And
Okay.
usually I work from anyone should, if a right-handed person should work from left to right, and top to bottom. So your
Hmm.
hand does not smudge it.
Right.
So first I complete the left side of the hair, then I'll do this part like that.
Hmm.
Before that, everything before I do the background. If the portrait has a really dark background, I first finish the background. I
Okay.
leave the portrait, I do the background because then the merging is slightly better.
Right. Right.
Sometimes the background, the edges of the portrait are blurry.
Right.
So when you do your background, your edges can be blurred. It can be slightly merged.
Right. So, friends, if you want to see more of Dr. Kalpesh's works, you should visit www.artodontics.com. We have more portraits displayed out there, and also his own handle, which is
Yeah.
Pentodontist. You will
Orthodontists.
be able to see a lot of other portraits displayed out there as well. And we are going to soon have more of his artworks being displayed. Okay, we have some. Okay, we have one query for you. During the use of
Hmm.
charcoal, some
Hmm.
of the face part used to be a little messy. So how do you
Hmm.
clean those?
Once your powder spreads to other areas, if it is within control, you can use a kneadable eraser to just lift up. For example, suppose if I have here, see, this portion is gone.
Huh.
But if it goes out, it is difficult to control.
Right.
Slightly, you can use, for example, this area. If I use, this is gone like that.
And
Hmm.
Yash
Kneadable eraser is the
Art
best
is
for
asking,
charcoal.
how
Hmm.
do you shake the face? So Yash, he will be coming to it very soon. And one more query we have from Reggie. And which charcoal powder are you using? Which one?
I'm using
That's true.
powder.
Hmm.
Uh,
So
Brustro and charcoal
Camlin
sticks
also you
also
can use,
depends
right?
mixture.
Camlin.
Sorry?
Camlin also you can use, right?
Any powder can be used. Brustro I found is the darkest. And
Okay.
after that, what I found, the second one was charcoal sticks, the powder from charcoal sticks or charcoal sticks directly. It depends.
Right.
But Brustro is not forgiving. Once you put that powder somewhere, it sticks to it and then you can't get it out. Acha, this is a
Okay.
paper stump. Okay. I usually like to use used paper stumps because they already have a little bit of charcoal on the end.
Right.
Uh,
So the paper stamp guide is basically to merge the
yes, to merge.
to merge the charcoal or the graphite, whatever you are using.
Exactly.
And you get various sizes of paper stamp. You get a set of paper stamp,
Right, right,
which varies from a very thick variety to a very thin one.
right.
So when you do multiple figures, I mean multiple faces if you want to do you still make a grid?
Yes, yes, grid. So I start my any portrait with a grid only. That entire thing will have a big grid. I do A2 size works also, A2 and A1 size also. So
Mhm.
first I have to, if suppose I have different photographs which I have to put it in one portrait, I do the editing first. Then I put all the portraits, all the photographs in one particular picture. Then I make a grid.
Okay,
You
okay.
can't have separate grids for each picture.
Right, right, right.
Uh,
Okay. You have a request. Playing Ruchi is saying, please do the lip part as well.
uh,
A
I
part
think
of the
that
lip,
would be
maybe we will try. Definitely, Ruchi. A part of the lip we will try to do.
okay. Now I don't know whether this will be visible. These eyes usually they have striations.
Yes, the iris.
The iris will have striations like that. So it is not very plain. I'm trying to slightly over exaggerate so that it is seen in the, yeah, but it has to be
No, it's
very
very
subtle.
clear. It's very clear.
Yeah. It has to be, and especially as Aishwarya has a little light colored eyes, so these will be more prominent.
Right. Beautiful. The hair is looking so beautiful. So beautiful. So,
One common mistake which everyone makes is that the sclera of the eye, it is never completely white.
right.
The It is a slightly convex shape, so the edges will be slightly darker as compared to the center. So if I try and simulate that,
And also, it is not like a blob of white and thing. Eye is like many people do that. They keep the sclera completely white.
hmm,
Whenever the eyelid is casting a shadow.
exactly, the upper part will be slightly darker as compared to the lower again. I'm doing it very fast here,
But you are
but
doing amazing in spite of being fast. And everybody knows that it is not that simple to do it. It is just for the sake of
just so that
doing it within the time constraint, you are doing it faster.
so this is how it basically will look. Then even the iris will have a slight halo. It won't be very sharp. It will have a slight.
So what are you using right now?
This is a paper stump again. It is a thin
Oh,
paper
it
stump.
is the paper stamp. Okay, okay.
These are all paper
Sorry,
stumps of different sizes.
okay, okay,
Huh.
okay.
I like to use the thin ones in these precise areas.
Right, right, right. It's already looking like Aishwarya is looking into your eye. Very beautiful. So you'll be showing us one eyebrow as well, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm
Eyebrow
just
is very simple.
I'm just getting
It is,
greedy here.
yeah, no problem. That's all right. Many a times we mess up eyelids, sorry, eyelashes. Many a
Yes.
times what we do is, a basic thing what we have to do is just make it very, with your very, what I can say is,
That is your
woodless charcoal, woodless
woodless
charcoal.
charcoal. Awesome. I'm just going to turn on the commenting for a while and check if anybody has any questions. Hi, Madhu.
The more time you give it to it, the more better it will come out.
Obviously, that's with anything.
Mm.
That's with anything. issue with the video as of now. Yeah, it's on. Yeah.
I'll show this eyebrow because this is more clear. So
Yes.
basically your eyebrow strokes, your hair strokes would be first would be this way.
The vertical.
Then it will slightly slant down, and then you'll have these kind of hairs. Now this is again layer number 1.
Right. I wish on Instagram we had this option of only zooming what you are doing.
I'll just check if I can.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
think it will, it's okay.
And beautiful. This is very good. This is really good. This is another mistake that people make, that they kind of, just take a straight, uh, filling the borders sort of a thing they do for the eyebrows.
Even you can put some highlights here also.
Beautiful.
So once this merges with the skin tone, then it will give a little more realistic appearance.
Right.
Okay.
So even the skin tone, you have to show us a little bit of skin tone because that is a request
Uh,
of one of the viewers.
Actually, I have slightly messed up the cheek part. I'll show the forehead.
Okay.
Okay. Is it fine? I'll show the forehead.
Yes. So that they get the gist of everything, little bit of the skin,
Uh,
little bit of the eye, little bit of the hair, and a part of the lip.
Here, since our values are going to be very less, I have to first get this grids out.
Right. So making portrait is not an easy job. You have to be very patient. First of all, making a grid on the paper in itself is a job which requires a lot of patience, I feel.
Exactly. In an A3 paper, it takes around 1.5 to 2 hours to just make your
Just
outline with
make
the
the
grid.
grid. And that is why I
Hmm.
was, I was asking you about the multiple faces if you have to make. So if
Ha,
it's a bigger paper, then the multiple faces, again getting the proportion, not only the proportion, but overall getting it right is very difficult. The
absolutely.
grid,
So what I do is I draw outline for one face first. I complete that face, then draw the outline for the next face. So like that.
irrespective, even if it is next to each other.
Ha.
Okay. Look at that eye. It's looking so beautiful. Okay. Babita is asking which paper are you using? So we have already answered that question earlier. He's using Bristol paper,
Brusco
which
Ultra
is
Smooth
ultra smooth.
250 GSM. I prefer minimum 250 because for multiple layers you require minimum 250. More the
Right.
GSM, the more layers you can apply.
Right. Got it, Babita?
Okay, so basically the technique here to do any smooth surfaces, I use the same brush which I have used everywhere. I don't coat any extra charcoal.
Mm.
The charcoal which is already on the brush, I slightly make it as light as possible and just spread that brush over the
The
smooth
skin.
areas.
The
The
skin
skin.
tone.
Exactly. But you have to be very, very gentle here. Very slow, very gentle.
Hmm.
Slowly, slowly you give your values.
Right.
So this part is in shadow if you see. So I have to slightly increase the value here, but that I'll do in the end. But it is from darkness towards lightness.
Okay. Okay. Not from light to dark.
I prefer from darkness towards lightness because I can get a gradual gradation there.
Right. Right. So here you may not be requiring too many layering, right?
No, no, no. But I have to be very slow because if I put more charcoal and then it is very difficult to get that out with your nibble. That leaves leave some marks on the paper,
Agreed.
eraser marks on the paper.
Agreed. Yeah. And also, I mean, prevention is better than cure, right?
हाँ.
So here you have to keep looking at the reference to check out the
Reference.
highlights also on the forehead, the cheek or whatever.
Now I'm not going exactly according to the reference image, but it is basically the technique is same. See now
Right.
this area is dark. Now I'm slightly taking it towards the lighter area.
Hmm.
The same technique applies everywhere.
So guys, what say? Let us take it up as a challenge, and you all can find this Aishwarya Rai's picture on online. I mean, and you all can also make the same portrait that Dr. Kalpesh has taught us, and put it in the comment box of Artodontics Instagram.
Sure, that would be great. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be real fun. And we will also know how good a teacher you were, Kalpesh. So Kalpesh has been amazing with his work. And I'm sure the kind of work he's doing on paper, he must be doing simply awesome work on the tooth as well. He's the endodontist, he's a root canal specialist. For people who are not aware, who are not dentists out here. So what happens is when that lock of hair comes on the forehead, there will always be
That is
shadow
fast
underneath
shadow.
that portion.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's giving a
Actually, there are hair strands here also, which I have not done. There are hair strands here also.
Hmm. So just for a moment, I'm going to turn on the commenting again.
Sure.
Hi Dilip. Hi Kundan. I wouldn't know this name, but hi Higgin Portraitist. Beautiful. So hair is not just this. There are always a few strands which are yeah,
Ah,
baby hair, what we would call them as.
right. So again, there'll be a little bit of darkness over here, slightly, and then the center part would be the lightest.
Right.
There'll be a little bit of shadow of the hair, which is here.
Hmm. Later on, Dr. Kalpesh will show us the completed portrait as well.
Sure, sure. So
Now
basically,
you made,
this part is
sorry,
completed.
sorry, I interrupted. Tell me.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. This is basically the forehead part almost, it is close to completed. So once we
Hmm.
merge this with the entire thing, na, things will be more clear.
Right, right. Beautiful.
Okay, I
True.
have messed this part because of my tissue paper, but that's okay.
That's okay. Because right now we are
Uh,
not that careful and we know this is
mm,
not going to be finalized.
right, right, right.
Since you are doing it in tech bits.
Uh, so this is how it is.
And the lip, we are not leaving you so
Lip.
soon.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'll do the lips.
Okay, art by Shubha. So I assume it is Shubha who's talking to us. That brushstroke powder is not so smooth for use on face. It has grains like powder which can spoil our drawing.
Right, right. That's what I told you. We don't take particular powder and do it on the face. We only use the leftover powder which is there on the brush. I clean my brush on the tissue, whatever is left over, and then
Hmm.
from the hair portion or something like that, I just drag it towards the center of the face. I don't
Hmm.
put powder per se on the face. If I put powder, then it's gone. I
Right.
have to use a used brush only on it. First,
Right.
test it on the tissue or a rough paper, see how much is there, and then use. You cannot put powder on the face.
Right.
Powder, or you can put in the hair or something like that. Hair,
So you
background,
can
everywhere
just
is okay.
borrow it from there. A bit of it you can borrow
Ah,
from there.
exactly. Here, actually, in this reference image, if I see lips are not very clear, but
Yes.
basically, this technique would be the upper lips are usually darker as compared to the lower ones because the lower one is a bit rounded, so it will reflect more light.
Right.
And some basic striations, if you give, it's your lip is almost is close to complete. I'll just first I do the center, the separated part, the separation.
Mm-hmm.
Again here, again I go, I use a woodless charcoal and first make a light line as I do in the eye. But here directly I'll be using the darker pencil.
The darker tone. Yes.
Uh,
You're welcome,
so
Ruchi.
once I use this pencil, then there is no going back. I can't rub this.
You have to be extremely careful with that.
Uh, Woodless pencil, I can rub it a bit.
So this is like extraction. Once it is done, there is no going back. Then you have to do an
we
implant. So you have to start a new
we
vein.
don't have an option of prosthesis over here.
Yeah. So then you have to place an implant only.
Uh,
So he's using the paper stamp once again.
uh, Paper stump is just to make it soft. These pencil marks always they are a little hard. They are rough. So paper stump is to make it soft.
Right. And it is always better to use this thinner paper stamps because the
Thinner
tissue
paper
can smudge
stumps.
it more, right?
Right, right, right. Thinner
Okay,
paper
so
stumps in thinner areas. Hmm.
Kalpesh,
Uh,
Harshu is saying, please shift the sheet upwards little bit so that, yeah, the lips will be in the picture.
hmm.
Thank you, Harshu, for that. Even I did not realize that.
Okay. Now again the same technique. I'm using a smaller ended brush,
Hmm.
and from the darker area, I'm just going to slide it upwards.
Hmm.
So these will automatically give those striation lines on the lips which are present.
Right.
You can. It's not very much seen here in the
No,
video.
no, it's quite visible. Could you zoom in a bit like you had
Zoom
done
in,
for the
zoom in.
eyebrow? Yeah. And take the paper slightly up so maybe yeah, perfect, perfect. Is that fine, guys?
So basically,
Beautiful.
what we are doing here is it is photorealism. It is not hyperrealism. There is something known as hyperrealism where you try and replicate each crease on the face. So
Hmm.
that is not done in charcoal. It's very difficult to achieve in charcoal. You have to do it in a very bigger size then. So this is
Okay.
sort of photorealism.
Yeah, hyperrealism becomes a big deal, and it takes a lot of time as well.
Lot of
Hyperrealism.
time. It takes months to do one portrait.
Hmm.
Lot of paper. Again, these thin paper stumps, they will slightly replicate your creases on the lips.
And here, I guess you don't have to really uh, bother about smudging the entire thing. Only then you'll have the striations out there.
Right, right.
Beautiful. It's come out really well.
Again, the ends, the corners of the lips would be the darkest as compared to the center. Same principle.
Right.
Certain reflective areas.
So this is like, do you also use the mechanical pencil at times out here or no?
Specifically, I use it when we have a skin texture to do. In males and all, when you have that skin texture to replicate, that time I use mechanical pencils.
Okay. Skin
Uh,
texture.
Skin texture, as in the skin pores and all.
Okay. So
I
just
can
a
use it
dot
here
that you
also.
have to make for the skin pore.
Dot and then a area of lightness just around it.
Okay.
I can use it here also.
Hi, Shaunak.
So this is basically how it is. When this combines with the skin, then it gives a realistic appearance. More.
Right. When you do things in text and bytes, it does not. See, the main aim or the mission of this particular live was to give a gist of a few important highlights, and then you can take it ahead from there.
Right.
Because if we have to do the entire portrait, then we will take around 4-5 hours at least live.
More than that, maybe. I have completed this portrait actually in on a bigger paper, A3 size. It took
Uh-huh.
me around 7 weeks to complete it, around 30 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And that too combined with the consultations.
Uh, I usually do it at night.
That's with all of us, right? So all
Uh,
orthodontists, we when people ask me when do you all get the time to do it, I said the night is ours.
uh, when you like something, you try to take out time to do that.
It's about passion.
Exactly.
How passionate you are about a particular thing. So guys, why don't you all follow orthodontics Instagram profile? We have this kind of master classes happening almost every 15 days. Earlier we used to have them. Okay, so I'll show you. I'll show you one more request. She
Uh,
says, please tell us how to work on gradient, especially the skin area. So I guess you have already
I have.
explained that in the
Uh,
forehead part.
I basically try to go from the dark to the light area. For example, here, suppose if you see this cheek part,
Hmm.
this is a dark area. First, I'll be putting some charcoal in this area. Not
Huh.
charcoal powder per se, but just the brush I'll be putting in this area. And then I'll be slightly just rubbing my brush from that area towards the lighter area, which is this.
That will
So it is dark
basically create the softness in the
gradient,
entire portrait.
softness and gradient. There won't be sharp edges between light and dark area.
Right.
mostly male lips, they have more striations and more as compared to the females. So
Hmm.
here you don't have much of work in the lips except there's some reflection here,
Highlight.
but that's it. Hmm.
So basically, even when in
Hmm.
monochrome, even when you are painting the lips in monochrome, you have to know how much lipstick a person has applied. That is the basically the highlight, I guess. That you have to know
Right.
how much lipstick the person, I mean, the lady has applied.
Now here to simulate that lipstick, if suppose I make the highlight more prominent, you'll feel as if she has a nice gloss on her.
Right.
This is just rough I've done. It's not the
Harsh, thank
something like that.
you for the tip.
Okay.
So
So this
Harsh,
is
you can
basically
follow us for more tips and tricks that way. Can we, okay, Dilip is asking, can we use graphite pencil also in this portrait with this
ab-
charcoal artwork?
absolutely. I try and use graphite with this is not exactly graphite. This is a Stedler. I'll just zoom out. Huh. Stedler black pencil. This does not shine as compared to graphite.
Hmm.
Okay, so I use this whenever I want to. These can be used in dark areas also. If I
Hmm.
use a lot of graphite pencils here and there, the my portrait would look uneven in light.
Right.
Half of it would shine and half of it will not shine. Specifically, what many lot of us what we do is we do the background in charcoal, black charcoal, and we do the portrait in graphite. So what happens is only your background is seen, but the portrait is not seen. Portrait
Right.
is very faint. That should be avoided. Minimum graphite things like small striations here and there is okay, but not major things.
Right. Yes, Harshu, you can follow orthodontics. You can follow orthodontics for that. I'm just replying to Harshu.
Okay, so this is how it is. I think I have done the major part of it. I can show you the completed portrait,
Yeah, please.
which I have done previously.
So how do you
Okay,
fix this?
I have a fixative. I use fixative by Arfina. This is it.
Huh.
Because
Okay.
charcoal needs fixation. It is impossible to keep charcoal that way. Graphite, once in a while,
Can
you
you
can.
can you show us the technique of fixation? Like how far do you hold it and what kind of position should that be in? Just in one portion out here somewhere?
It is basically I hold it vertically towards my window. Matlab
Huh.
this the fumes are not very good for us, so I hold it in vertically towards the window, and I just spray from a distance of around say around half a feet, half a foot.
Okay.
Huh.
Just spray it
It is very
evenly.
easy, and just you have to just be very gentle with it and very uniform. It is very easy. There's nothing. I
And
use
just
this
one
fixative.
layer is enough, right?
One layer is enough. One layer is enough.
Hmm.
It has to be very uniform.
Right.
And even if some areas become patchy, I keep it overnight, it settles down. It does
Oh,
not
is it? Okay.
mess up the. But you
And
should
then
have
it just
minimum
does not,
250
and
PS.
it works really well, right? It does not smudge thereafter.
No. Then it is very good. I keep my portraits one on top of the other. It does not smudge. I have a
And
lot of
if you
portraits.
want to rework on that, can you?
Yes, you can rework on that. Again, your pencil marks, your charcoal marks will come on that. Not a problem.
Okay.
Not like it used to come initially. You can't completely change the portrait, but small minor connections can be done on that.
Right. Awesome. That was a really, really insightful session, Dr. Kalpesh. Thank you so much. We would like to see your completed Aishwarya Rai.
Yeah, I'll just try and
Okay, guys.
for sure.
You all want to see? Oh my God. This is
इसके नीचे वो डालना दूसरा. Just a second ना. दूसरा
sure.
और एक ये था ना. वो
This is super amazing.
I usually work on this side.
Hey, Hema, hi.
So this is the completed portrait on
Wow.
A3 size.
This is out of
The
the
hair
world.
was took me around 2-3 days. This is how
But
it is.
worth every moment, I guess.
Ah,
It's too good, too good. Look
thank
at
you so
the
much.
hair.
Thank
You
you.
can actually you feel like running your fingers through that hair. It's that beautiful.
Thanks a lot, man. Thank you.
Do we have anything else that you could show our audience?
No, no, I'll show some once. But actually, I have coated them in a plastic layer, so the plastic might shine a bit.
Oh, lovely, Jennifer Aniston.
There is Aniston.
Awesome, beautiful.
This is actually ZNMD ka. There's one
Um,
scene in the
Make
Milegi
it
Do.
horizontal. Make it horizontal, Dr.
I
Kalpesh.
don't think it will come.
Yeah.
It won't. तू ऊपर
Huh.
लेना फोन ऊपर रख नीचे.
You can show us. Oh, this is too good. Too good. Three Idiots. No, no, sorry. Zindagi na milegi dobara.
Right.
Awesome.
And this is a latest one, which is a heartthrob going on everywhere. The
Uh,
Pushpa drawing.
oh my God. You already had it.
Okay, so these are some
Awesome.
of them.
Too good.
Okay,
Really awesome. So, could you come back to
and
the space and we can
yes,
talk to the audience? Awesome.
yes, ma'am. Thanks a lot. It was my pleasure. Thanks a lot.
It's too good. And there are so many people who are already following you. And
Thank you so
like I
much.
said, maybe once more we can go live with you for the landscape work. You know,
Definitely,
because
definitely.
portrait and landscape are two different things altogether, in my opinion.
Right, right, right,
The
right.
more accurate and no scope of error in the portrait, landscape can be as abstract as it can be.
Absolutely perfect.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalpesh, for all the time and lovely tips and tricks and insights and your own experience. It's
Thank you
really
so
awesome.
much, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was very nice working and glad to be a part of Artodontics. Thanks a lot.
One second, let me just see if. Okay, okay. Dilip has just thanked you for the insight that you gave him. Thank you so much
Thank
once
you so
again,
much.
everyone, for joining in and spending that precious 1 hour of Sunday with us. We will be back.
Most welcome. My
We will
pleasure.
be
Most.
back with much more, and maybe very soon with Hiral, who's Kalpesh's wife. We are very proud to have both of them on orthodontics. Okay,
Sure,
so
sure.
saying, Saurabh, saying that I would love to see you live again. Definitely, we will get him
Soft
live
woodlet.
again.
Soft woodlet. Soft woodlet. For outlines, I use a normal graphite pencil, mechanical pencil or graphite pencil. There was a question
Mhm.
down there.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, would like that. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you so much, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Kalpesh. So we'll be
Thank
back
you, ma'am.
with another episode of an interesting and one more insightful way, a technique of painting. Bye then.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care,
Bye
everybody.
bye.
Bye.